Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the second part of the Jaws marathon. If you guys followed me on Instagram, you guys may have seen the post that I made that I was actually watching Jaws 2 for the first time, and I just got actually done watching it like about an hour ago. Um, and um, I'm just gonna say this right now, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Um, like I knew it was obviously going to be not as good as the first one. Like you can't top the first Jaws film. Like you just can't. So, like I basically just went in with no mindset, like with nothing um like no expectations. Um and I was honestly surprised about how good this film is. Um Obviously it's not like a masterpiece or anything, but it's certainly, you know, if I like I wouldn't mind watching this again. Um, so anyways, um, don't worry, I don't have the coronavirus. I just had something in my throat. So anyways, let's get on with the actual review. So this was made on a budget of $30 million, made over $81 million at the box office, and worldwide it made $187 million. So overall, um, it was a massive success. Um, and you know, I think at the time it was also the best profitable sequel at the time until I forgot what came out that beat Jaws 2, but for a while Jaws 2 was the best financial sequel ever made for a while. Um, and this was directed by Janelle Swark. Um, if that's how you say it. Um, so you guys may remember him if you guys are into, uh, film and stuff. You guys may remember him from Supergirl, from 1984. Um, Now is that film better than Jaws 2? I don't know. I personally haven't seen it, but from what I've seen from Jaws 2, I think he's a very competent director. Um, I think he can do, a lot. Um, but I just don't think that um, he was given, the freedom to do it. He also, I believe, he also directed Somewhere in Time, starring Christopher Reeve, which I do want to do a review on that at some point. I just got to get around to watching it. So, anyways, let's go over the plot. Um, so years after the shark attack left Amity Island uh, reeling, Sheriff Martin Brody, again played by Rossiter, finds new trouble lurking in the waters. Mayor Vaughn, played by again Murray Hamilton, um, wants to rid the beach town of the stain of its reputation, but the disappearance of a pair of divers suggests that all is not right. When Sheriff Brody voices his warnings about holding a sailing competition, everyone thinks it's post traumatic stress. That is until a shark fin cuts through the water. Um so yeah, I don't know how many years set after the first film. It sets some time after, because you could see in the film you could see that he has a reward for, I think it was Best Police Chief of 1975. I personally think it's about 3 years after the first film, which would kind of make sense. Um, but yeah, but to talk about the cast, again, Roy Scheider returns as Martin Brody, and it's pretty well documented that in during the production of this film, he had a lot of disagreements with the director Chanel Swark. Um, and I'll talk about that later when I get to the fun facts. Even though on here I only have one written down, I actually thought of another one right before I started recording, so I might mention that as well. If I and ironically, I'm starting to forget that. But yeah, anyways, Roy Scheider returns as Martin Brody, and I think he does again a superb job as you know Brody, and I think honestly that the stuff that happened on set uh, kind of made the performance a little bit, you know, a police chief that is a little bit more unhinged. Um, Lauren Gary returns as Ellen Brody. She has a bigger, a much bigger role than in the first film, but still isn't really used to her, isn't used as much. That will come in the fourth film, but we'll get to that at some point. Um, you know. Anyways, Murray Hamilton as the mayor. Interesting fact about this, about Murray Hamilton, is that I believe, I don't know exactly how long into production, but while they were filming, Hamilton went up to the director and or announced that his wife, that he had to fly back to his wife who had, I believe, breast cancer, and so, you know, they can't, keep him for the production if that sort of thing is going on. So what they did was, surprisingly, I don't know how they did it, but somehow they did all of, his scenes in 2 days. And I think that shows a lot of credibility to Gina Schwark. Um, but anyways, and then we got all the teenagers. I won't name all of them because honestly, I don't. I really don't want to. If you want to learn more about them, you know, look up other reviews on YouTube that will describe, or talk about what the actors, what the teenagers did after Jaws 2. Actually, there is one review that I remember. It's called The Story of Jaws 2. If you look that up, and it goes into, a lot of behind the scenes, the story, and the actors. And you'll find more about that later. But the three I really want to talk about are uh, Tina Wilcox, Michael, and Sean Brody. So, Anne Dusenberry plays Tina Wilcox, and her her boyfriend Eddie is one of the unlucky uh, uh, peasants for the shark, because once the other teens have ridden off, and her and Tina and Eddie are out and alone, the shark basically just singles them out and just kills Eddie. But yeah, I honestly think that like she pulled off the terror really well, and you know especially when when a shark is like basically in front of like you just see this fin just coming at you. you I would honestly probably freak out as well. um but yeah. um Mike Mark Gunner as Michael Brody. This was his final role before he quit. um and honestly, I think he's kind of like he's just a basically brash teenager. Um, and I'm gonna be completely honest. The teens in this movie, at first, I just thought they sucked, and honestly, most of them do. Cause if you watch like any like horror film with teens in like the 80s or 90s, and you go back to Jaws 2, you'll basically see that they're basically the exact same thing. And this, I would say that this is honestly the film that, like, you know, made the teens that literally can't do anything but except, you know, scream. Well, like they do like two things. They either scream, they basically scream ha- and make love. Like I just think, you know, it's that like that's like the like it just that um that persona for teens has just stuck with horror films ever since. They've gotten better with that over time, but like I said in the 80s and 90s, this was how teens were represented in, in horror, and I just really think it's a shame that you know is a thing. Um, like I just honestly think that um, like writers should not just shouldn't have done like just the same old thing for teens because it gets really old really fast. And like I said, and even in this film, the teens suck. Um, and the most unfortunate thing is like the first half is about basically Martin Brody, and then like in the second half, he mostly is like not even in the film until the end. Like he'll pop up every once in a while, and then he would just disappear, or like it would just cut back to the teens arguing and trying to figure out what the hell they're gonna do. It's That's probably my least favorite part about the film. Um, and I guess starting with this film, I'm gonna have a new segment on on the reviews. Um, cause this is honestly the first film that I've done for the review kind of you know videos that um that I've actually had a scene that I just literally just walked out on, like I'm not watching that because I just felt it was too cringy for me, and that was when Brody's on top of like the shark tower, looking out, trying to see if the beachgoers are okay, and he sees something coming towards the kids or like the people in the water, and it looks like a shark. And before the scene, you've seen him put poison tipped darts, or he made poison tipped bullets, and so he sees it, and after you've seen one shark attack and you've seen a shark up close, you're like, oh my god, that's a shark. So he rings the bell, climbs down, he's running towards the ocean, pulls out his gun, and starts shooting, and then all of a sudden one of the guys says, "That's just a whole bunch of bluefish." And then you see like the whole bunch of bluefish like jumping out of the water, and then like I just honestly did not like that scene. So for my least favorite scene, it was that. Um, and I keep on I actually went over Mark Gleepin. I think that's how you say it. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Sean Brody. He like obviously with kid actors, he's a kid. Like I can't really blame him that much. Um, but yeah. So really quickly before I go on to the um fun facts and the rating, I want to really quickly talk about the score. Again, I think honestly the two like wins for the producers for this film is one getting back Rossiter as Martin Brody, and second getting back John Williams to do the score. And like the first film, I think it's very good. This film, um, like of course it has the Jaws theme like integrated within the some of the tracks, but most of it is kind of like uplifting, a lot more uplifting tracks than in the first film. Um, but that's not a problem with the film itself. It doesn't even affect the film. I still think that this is honestly a very good score. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, the fun fact that I have written down is that director Chanel's work and actor Rossiter would often get into uh, arguments on set and eventually actually getting into physical contact. So like I said earlier, Rossiter classically clashed with the director, and they had some serious arguments, and so it got to the point where the producers really stuck them, like try to mitigate the issues, but it literally went to the point where they got into a physical confrontation, and um, yeah, and then it was just, yeah, it was not very good. Um, and I guess another fun fact that I would quickly mention is um, yeah, like Roy Scheider did not like making this film at all. Um, he went like from what I've read, he went so far as to actually in his apartment or like trash an apartment to make the producers think he was crazy, and then they would just let him go from the production. And didn't work, and I guess as a compromise, they counted because this was because he I believe Roy Scheider wanted to do Sleeping Dogs, and Universal would the producers would agree to do that if he did Jaws 2. And obviously with all the stuff that was going on the production, they counted this film as two films, so he can get out of his contract with Universal and go on to do other projects. Unfortunately, Roy Scheider actually did pass away, I believe, in 2008. So, unfortunately, if we do get a 4K release of, Jaws 2 and like the other Jaws films, unfortunately we won't be able to get, a new interview with him because, he's no longer with us. And um I think that's honestly a real shame that he's not with us anymore. Um, but from what I've seen in Jaws and Jaws 2, you did a fantastic performance. So, R.I.P. my man, War Scheider. But anyways, really quickly before I end the video, like I said, I was honestly surprised by this film. It was not that bad of a film. This is the uh, 2016 Blu-ray, so this is currently the highest definition that you can get on Jaws 2 and 3 and 4, because these were all released in 2016. Jaws, the first one, I've already been released on Blu-ray, at this point, multiple times. But before, the only way that we could watch, these films were like on, standard DVDs, but now we finally have them on Blu-ray. So really quickly, I'll go over the Jaws 2 Blu-ray. So there's the front, the spine, and the back. Now, all these special features I'm about to name off were on the original first DVD. So we have deleted scenes, the making of Jaws 2, Jaws 2, a portrait by actor Keith Gordon, John Williams, the music of Jaws 2, the French joke, which I don't know what that is, and storyboards and more. So yeah, pretty good Blu-ray release. But yeah, I honestly rate this film a 8 out of 10. Like I said, it did surprise me. Obviously not as good as the first one, but I would honestly go back to this film. I think it's very enjoyable. If you ever wanted to watch a Jaws film, I would honestly say go with the first or second film. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking about Jaws 3, or it's also known as Jaws 3D. Will I be talking about the 3D? Because I actually do have a set of 3D glasses that are over there. And I'll see if the 3D does work. It might just be the glasses, or we'll just see if this actually works. But so yeah. So anyway, guys, see you guys then. Live long and prosper. Out.